Aaron, you're okay. Where's Felix?
I stuck a blender in his head and killed him. He would have killed me.
No, that was never supposed to happen. If you reacted normally, my parents and siblings would have been killed. You'd have been untouched. And we'd be rich. Hey, I love you. I promised you that I'd come back, didn't I?
Why the fuck not?
What's going on, Spooky Gang? Welcome back to Terror of Tech. I hope y'all are having a blessed day. Now, before we begin this video, go ahead and show your boy some love and click that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1K subs. Just trying to bring that good old horror content to the masses. So if you like what you see here and you like the content that I bring to the channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button, and let's get this thing jumping. So today we're talking about our beloved Final Girls. In the early days of horror, specifically slashers, the Final Girl has always been an intricate part of storytelling and just being a badass character and heroine, that is able to go against, any antagonist and some of our favorite horror villains. And for the most part, each Final Girl has their own dynamic and complexities, which makes them unique on their own. And a lot of them are the reason why we love horror today. So the first Final Girl that I want to bring up is Ellen Ripley. And of course, everybody knows her from the Alien franchise, and she's played by Sigourney Weaver. Like, when we're talking about somebody just being a badass survivor and just being somebody that's really resilient and really resourceful against the xenomorphs, she's just like the perfect embodiment of just that. She's a very courageous leader. She's a natural leader. You obviously see that she's able to make a lot of tough decisions in the movies. And she's a sort of and she's really sort of a symbol of like empowerment, or like female empowerment. She was one of the first to like challenge those gender roles in horror, and her character development spans over the course of the multiple films that they have. It really shows her evolution from just this warrant officer to a survivor who's able to confront her fears and really take on Alien head on, and her abilities to not only keep herself out of danger but the other characters in those films as well. So Ellen Ripley is one of the greatest, and definitely got to show her some love off the bat. Next up, we got Nancy Thompson from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Nancy Thompson is somebody that everybody knows. Everybody's seen a Nightmare on Elm Street. If you haven't, then I don't know what rock you've been living under, but clearly a determined survivor. Everything that she has to go through to try to make sure that she doesn't succumb to Freddy, and dealing with nightmares and dreams, and which is a really hard aspect because everybody has to go to sleep. So even if like they show in the movies, she's taking hypnosills, she's taking all these different measures and things like that to stay awake, but at the end of the day you have to go to sleep. So as you see in the films, she's a very strategic planner. Like if you look at the first film, how she devises this plan to bring Freddy into the real world, and then she has like all these booby traps set up in the house, just able to be planned and be witty and try to outsmart Freddy over her having bravery and courage. At the end of the original, for instance, it's the whole, she gives Freddy the power. Freddy doesn't have any power on his own. It's just the children and their dreams and everybody that he's going after. So, and sort of standing up to Freddy in that way and saying like, you're not real, you have no real impact on anything. So seeing that aspect, and then as she does in the later films with Dream Warriors and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, just how her character evolves. So like in Dream Warriors, she's more so trying to come up with ways to help them, and how they all come together to get into the dreams to be able to fight Freddy, because that's where they have all their power. So strategic planning there again. Like I said, very, very resilient, and just no matter what she was doing, she was gonna do whatever she could to be triumphant at the end. Next up is my homegirl Laurie Strode. Y'all already know how we rocking. Halloween has always been my go-to, and Jamie Lee Curtis playing Laurie Strode has been a very important part into why I love Halloween. Obviously, Michael Myers himself is my favorite horror character of all time. But when we're thinking about her impact on the storyline and, what she did for not only just the Halloween franchise, but horror as a whole, she's clearly a survivor of trauma. And you see that with, with her grapples and her past attacks with Michael. And she turns into a very resilient Final Girl, not only in the original movie, but in the further sequels that she's in as well. So it's not just only protecting herself, but protecting the well-being of others and her friends and family. She embodies resilience in the face of evil, and we really see that in the 3 David Gordon Green Halloween films. Her having to battle with the trauma of Michael Myers and the trauma that Michael Myers spreads to not only her, but, you know, the entire town, and how she has to be able to overcome that mentally. That helps put her in a better position to be able to physically go up against Michael and have the confidence to do so. She's one of the very first final girls in horror and the ultimate scream queen of all time. So it ain't nothing but love for Laurie Strode. Next up, we got Sidney Prescott and she's from the Scream franchise, played by Neve Campbell. What makes Sidney such a unique final girl is the fact that, you know, yes, she's a survivor of multiple attacks by Ghostface. The thing about Ghostface is, in each movie, although they're still seen as Ghostface, it's always a different person underneath the mask. You know you're dealing with Ghostface, but who exactly is it? So every Scream movie is a whodunit. So you think of Sidney Prescott's ability to really be smart and resourceful, using her intelligence to be able to uncover identities. I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen Billy Loomis and Stu. We've seen Jill in Scream 4. Just so many people who donned the mask. Somehow she always prevailed at the end. Sidney Prescott is definitely a dog. And last but not least, this is a character that was involved in one of the greatest endings to a horror movie ever, and that would be Sally Hardesty of A Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When we talking about somebody that had to endure some mess, I about don't even know how she did it. So like, you think about everything that she's inflicted by with Leatherface, and you think about that dinner scene, sitting at the table, everything about them is sketch and wild. And you know, even with her being surrounded by all of that, classify her as one of the better escape artists. You know, she shows so much determination in her escapes, you know, from the original of jumping out the window to be able to get out the house. And just to cap it off, like I said, at the very end, you see her, Leatherface tries to get her, she's on the back of the truck. It almost seemed like she just went completely crazy at the end. Like, to this day, we haven't really seen crazy look like that in any horror film to date. So I mean, so just hats off goes to her, because she's definitely one of the top final girls of all time for sure. So yeah, Spooky Gang, those are our horror final girls. These are final girls that are very important to horror. They're iconic figures, will always be not only a part of my childhood, but just part of everything that, you know, we all love about horror. When you just have a real badass final girl, it really can take a movie up a notch. And so when you couple that with good storytelling, a great antagonist, and then shoot, you got a banger right there, easy. So definitely, like I said, shout out to them final girls. We see you, and you will always be appreciated. But yeah, Spooky Gang, make sure y'all comment down below who are some of your favorite final girls. There's a multitude of them out there. There's so many more to choose from. You know, like an honorable mention that I wanted to throw in here would be Erin from Your Next. When we talk about a dog, she's the truth. So yeah, like I said, comment down below some of your favorite final girls. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I'll get with y'all next time. Until then, stay spooky.